Hi, my friend. My desk has looked like a bomb hit it for, well, longer than I want to admit. This past weekend, I finally cleaned it off and put things away, and there's just something so wonderful about sitting down to a clean desk. I breathe easier, enjoy working more. It's definitely a thing. Not that you necessarily needed to know all of that. For some reason, I just felt the incredible urge to overshare. You're welcome. Now, moving on from my cleaning habits, but don't worry, I'll be back sharing more proof that authors are human at the end of this video. Are you ready to get your copy of Fugitive of Talionis? Do you want to access it before it's available on major retailers? How about having the option of working with me to create a character who will appear later in this series? If you answered yes to any or all of these questions, then get ready because drum roll please, the Kickstarter launches this week. In just 2 days, the pre-release Kickstarter for Fugitive of Talionis will be launching. This is your chance to get book 2 in the Talionis series before it releases anywhere else. And there are some other exciting surprises coming as well that I can't wait to share. As I mentioned last week, the faster the project funds on Kickstarter, the better. And I've added in some early bird specials like getting your digital ebook copy before everyone else, as well as some discounted tiers for anyone who backs within the first 24 to 48 hours of the campaign. So there are also some levels with limited space. So if you want to make sure you get the reward level you want, be sure to check it out as soon as it launches. And there's going to be a link below in the video notes here. If you sign up to be notified on the launch through that link, Kickstarter will email you as soon as the project goes live. So like I hit launch, you get an email. And if you want to know if you're actually going to get the book early, spoiler alert, yes, you are. If you want to know exactly what that looks like, I created a graphic in the email with a basic rundown and plan for when you'll receive the book if you back the Kickstarter. So, Fugitive of Talionis is currently written and it's undergoing edits, and the times are based on estimates of for when I'm going to finish all my edits, have the proofreading process done, print time, physical copies of the book, all of that. My goal is to have the copies to you even sooner than the estimates. Okay, to give you a little bit of an idea of what happens between when the Kickstarter funds, so the very last day of the campaign, and when everyone receives their awards, here you go. The campaign lasts for about 30 days. And it's only during this time that you'll be able to place your order for a copy of Fugitive of Talionis that you're going to get months before it officially releases in stores. And if the campaign funds, so if we hit our target goal, then it takes 2 weeks for me to receive those funds from Kickstarter. And it's during that time that I'm going to be putting finishing touches on the book, polishing it up, getting maps made if we hit that goal, prepping the interior files for printing. And once I receive all the funds and everything from Chame, who does my maps, if we hit that goal again, and all the books are ready and everything, that's when I'll send the ebooks out to the backers who got them, and I'll be sending the copy to my printer so that they can get the books ready to go to print and everything. So the timeline for when the print copies will be shipped to backers will depend on my printing times with my printer, which are out of my control, but I'll keep everyone up to date. And my goal will be to have the printed copies of Fugitive of Talionis, as well as all the other add-ons and extras ordered, sent out as quickly as possible. I want you to get as much benefit from backing this campaign as you possibly can. If the campaign doesn't fund, that's a bummer, but it just means everyone's going to have to wait to get their copy of Fugitive of Talionis until 2023. So if you want to get your copy early, then you could spread the word, make sure people know that they can get their copy now if they back the Kickstarter. Okay, moving on a little, I wanted to share a little bit of thoughts from myself to you, and has less to do with the Kickstarter, more just a little personal thinking as I've been working through different things in my own life. I am amazed at how easy it is for me to get stressed out, freaked out, overwhelmed. Okay, you get the idea. Essentially, my brain starts to feel as cluttered and messy as my desk was before I cleaned it. I've witnessed God work on my behalf countless times as I've pressed into what He has set before me to do. Yet, so often I revert back to thinking I need to figure things out, come up with a plan, understand how it's all going to work. Spoiler alert, again, I don't, and neither do you. We all face things in our lives that are truly overwhelming, impossible for us to handle on our own. Yet, as I've been reading through the stories in the book of Exodus in my Bible reading, I'm amazed to watch how God leads his people into situations on purpose, not to freak them out or overwhelm them, but to show them how strong he is and do for them what they could have never done for themselves. One of the craziest and most miraculous stories in the Old Testament is the parting of the Red Sea. Israel had just gotten out of Egypt. They were finally free and on the path God had for them, and God led them on purpose by the way of the wilderness of the Red Sea. But Pharaoh wasn't done yet. He's coming after them, ready to take them back, enslave them again. And so now the Israelites find themselves in a seemingly impossible position that God himself had led them into. They've got an army behind them and a massive body of water in front of them. Talk about being between a rock and a hard place. Well, I guess it's between an army and a wet place. Excuse my silliness. So they, from what they could see, were doomed. If all they had were themselves to trust in, they would have been doomed. But God was with them and he was working. He moved on their behalf. He parts the Red Sea and they walk across on dry ground. God saved them in a miraculous way. He fought for them and destroyed the enemy that sought to destroy them and showed them that all they needed to do was trust him. Like my cluttered and messy desk, sometimes I need to stop and lay out all my fears and stresses and burdens before the Lord and remember who he is, what he's done, and trust him with whatever I'm facing. I need to put them away, so to speak, and stop focusing on the mess. The reality is that God has, through sending Jesus, already shown me that he'll go to the greatest lengths for me, his daughter. When we fix our eyes on who our God is, and lay our burdens at his feet, and choose to trust him, he will work. And it's often in the most unexpected ways. Whatever you may be facing in your own life right now, my prayer is that you would know God wants to meet you there and show you he can work. If there's a way I can be praying for you, please reach out and let me know. Shoot me an email and I will read it and I will respond as soon as I can. Until next time, hope and grace, my friend.